up? Live, still live from the courthouse right behind me, Pearl Street. What up, y'all? We're reporting. All right. Okay, what up, y'all? Okay, hold on, somebody's texting me. Okay, Trent Out Loud back once again, day 24. We are finally at the end of the day. I hope you all caught the morning briefing, and then we came out at lunchtime and gave you guys a little roundup of what's going on. And now we are going to sum up the day. Melva, what up? Melva, I think you caught me all 3 times, man. Morning, lunch, and the end of the day. I love that, Melva. Thank y'all. Natasha's in here. Adora's in here. Tez is here. Tez, I think, has caught in every single live. What up, Tez? Marcus is here. Dorothy is here. Love that, love that. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. Let me find my place. Joyce is here. C-Mac is here. What up? Joyce from Chicago. Chi-Town in the building. What up, Chi-Town? Her. Let me find out. Okay. Let me get started. My last live before I sleep. It's almost midnight in South Africa. Shout out South Africa. Joburg, Cape Town. What up? I love that I have people in South Africa, yo. 3 times here too. There you go. Roberta's in the building. What up, Roberta? Veronica. Hip Act is here. Hey, Trent. It's Strawberry Daiquiri. Oh, yeah, Strawberry Daiquiri. What up, Nashville? All right, her name is pronounced, okay, who? Oh, you're saying your name. Sorry, y'all know I pronounce names wrong all the time. Sorry about that. Jennifer Hall, what up? Hey, Trent, good job. Ruth, what up? All right, let me get started here. I just found a place and I lost it. Okay, so I'm gonna recap the entire day very, very quickly, and then, because like I said, you guys want to catch back the other lives that we did, so I'm not boring y'all, but I'll recap, and then I'll give you guys the tea of what's going on with the witness list. Yo, Diddy team with that witness list, and they got exposed by the prosecution. Things are not looking good, man. Diddy and his team did not have a good day today, all right? So very, very quickly, like I said, from top, juror number 6 is out of here. Sunday, the Diddy's team sent a letter to the judge and said, we really want you to keep him. If you do get rid of Black Man, we are going to call for a mistrial. It will be grounds for a mistrial. That happened. The judge says he is gone. He has been dismissed, okay? The judge also admitted the secret cell phone number 2, that dumb Diddy, I don't know what this guy is thinking. During the raid, they didn't get one of his cell phones. He sent a voice note to KK. He's like, hey, KK, they didn't find one phone that have a bunch of stuff on the phone. They got the voicemail off of KK's phone. They got the phone. Diddy's team was trying to not have it be let in as evidence because they said that it was privilege. The judge says, nah, man, y'all know how it is. If they search your house, even if they don't find something, it is your responsibility to hand over all your electronics. That cell phone, iPad, it does not matter. You have to hand it all in. That alone, Diddy could face charges for obstruction of justice, I think 5 to 10 years. Even if he beats the RICO, beats all the SCX trafficking, he could still go to jail for not handing over that phone after the raid. I don't know why he didn't just throw that in the ocean. From I had to pay Cassie $20 million, I would have thrown every single one of my electronics in the phone. I don't even know how they found anything in the raids or even when he got arrested. Jeez, man, you're a billionaire and you're not even thinking straight. Anyways, so that's it with the secret phone. What else is there? Also, too, Diddy's team tried to have Bonna's testimony completely eliminated. The judge said, no way. They have Rob Holiday trying to call evidence that Rob Holiday called Bonna 3 days after, trying to offer her a deal, which gives her testimony that much more credibility. We know that the dates are kind of mixed up, and did Cassie see it or not? But the prosecutors say they have evidence that one of Diddy's friends, Rob Holiday, tried to call her 3 days after the incident. Doesn't mean he hung her over the balcony, but something happened, all right? And last thing is Brendan Paul. He was maybe supposed to take the stand today. We weren't too sure, but ultimately they wrapped a little bit early. Brendan Paul, who is Diddy's DRUG mule, he will be on the stand tomorrow, which is Tuesday, or if not Wednesday. Just to let you guys know, I'll jump around a little bit. The prosecution will rest their case on Wednesday. Thursday, there is no court. And Friday, the defense starts, and that's how we know about their witness list. I'll tell you about that soon. By the way, guys, I have a little extra time, so when I'm done with the day's wrap up, I will answer all of the questions that are in the comments. So put the questions in here, and I'll answer them. Okay. So yeah, Brendan Paul, you all know about him. We found out about him from a Little Rod's civil suit. Little Rod was one who told us that he was Diddy's DRUG mule. He will be testifying though as an assistant, but we all know really who he is, okay? And what is this text message? Okay, no, that's not important. Okay, so now the trial started. Oh yeah, so what I like to do all the time is to let you guys know the feeling and what's going on in the court. We do know that you guys can get transcripts and there's tweets going out, but I like to give you guys things that are not in these tweets. So Diddy's sons were not here today. This is the first time since I've been actually in the courtroom. As you know, I'm right in the front where content creators are. And right in front of us, there is Diddy's mom and his sons. They were not there today. His mom was there, but even sometimes too, like a couple other people from his family. It was a very, very empty courtroom on the Diddy side today. His sons were not there. Diddy looks like he was feeling good. He looks like he was in a good mood yesterday. Last week, I told you guys, we heard rumors that Diddy was sick or he had the flu. He looks in great spirits. He walked in smiling, joking, comes in every day and says what's up to us. He gives us a little heart symbol. Last week, we told you about the huge mistake that Brian Steele made. Check that out for my lunchtime episode if you don't know about it. But Diddy gave him a big hug. A little weird though. For those who don't know, people are speculating that there could be a little beef from Brian Steele's mess up. But then at lunchtime, or not at lunchtime, but the break, Brian Steele was sitting not beside Diddy, where it's every day he normally sits beside Diddy. And then for the rest of the trial, for the rest of the day, he didn't sit beside Diddy. So it started off good, but then kind of ended a little wishy-washy. I don't know. Mark Agofino looks like he is annoyed with Brian Steele. I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Steele maybe is no longer on the team. I don't know, because that was a huge mess over juror number 6. I feel like the judge probably still would have dismissed them, but Mark, Tenney, and Xavier Donaldson had really good points, and the judge was thinking about it, and then when Brian Steele said what he said, it was just like, the judge was like, all right, I'm done now, man. I'm wrapping it up. So it was a huge mistake. Okay, couple of other things that the judge mentioned this morning. The defense, like I said earlier, they're trying to get Bonner's testimony completely kicked out. He said he was not going to do that. That falls under the NANPU, gone. It's not grounds for mistrials, and he says that her testimony was not perjury. They said that the prosecution, Diddy's defense team was trying to say that they put on somebody on stand who they knew that was lying. The judge did not fall for that. The judge says, listen, you guys are a good defense team. You brought out inconsistencies in Bonner's testimony. It doesn't mean that the prosecution knew or thought that she was going to lie on the stand. She did not perjure herself. So sorry, not grounds for dismissal. And then he told us that jury number 6 would be gone. For those of you who want to hear the entire story over jury number 6, which is really interesting, make sure you check out our lunchtime recap. Like I said, I'm going to just go quickly here because I've already talked about it. But I have 2 pages on juror number 6. So go out and check out our lunchtime episode. Just before I let that go, I just want to remind you guys, I saw a question. Somebody asked me how many black jurors. Out of the 17 that are left, there's 12 main and then now 5 alternates. Yes, it'll make 17. There are 2 black men. One looks like he's 25 to 30-ish, and there's another black male that looks like he could be around 35 to 40-ish. One of them, I think, is an alternate, and one of them is on. There are 3 black women who are on the who are our jurors, and there's one kind of like oldish, kind of like auntie vibes, where she's kind of like 60, 70. So that is what is left. So for my count, there is 1 black alternate left and 5 black jurors that are still on the jury. Okay, so yes, we lost 1, but there is still 1 left. Okay, so that is it for jurors. Now let me go on to Why is juror number 6 gone? What, was he threatened? Go out and check our lunchtime episode. I don't want to get too repetitive. I really went into depth. Just go, it's on the YouTube page, just go on the live, just check out our lunchtime one. We posted it around 3 or 4 hours ago. I go into detail, explain you everything, why juror number 6 was let go, dismissed, what the fight was over, etc. I did it in full detail. I don't want to bore the people like Melva that has been on the morning, lunchtime, and here, all right? Okay, so let me first tell you about the first witness, Anya Sankar. She is a paralegal. She works for the government. She was there to verify summary charts. Keep in mind, this was such a smart move out of prosecution. I'm going to break this down. I broke it down a little bit at lunch, but I'm going to tell you a little bit more now. So she was there to break down summary charts. Summary charts are like a bunch of text messages, and they put it, think about it like putting it in like an Excel chart so that the jury can see it better. So you'll see like, Diddy to Cassie from this cell phone number to that cell phone number and the message. And you see it like in a summary. Think about it like an Excel sheet. So she was there to verify that she was the one that put the summary charts together and all the text messages, videos, etc. Okay. She said she got everything from cell phones, videos, and text messages, and it was hundreds of pages. Guess who was the cell phone that Sanka was in charge of? KK's. They put a summary chart of KK's text messages, and it was brilliant. I'll tell you why it was brilliant, because they got a hold of KK's devices, her laptop, her iPad, her cell phone, and they took all her information off. And when I tell you for about 2 or 3 hours, they were going through KK's text messages. I have some here that I'll tell you about. Why it is a brilliant move, you might be asking, is we do know that KK is a co-defendant with Diddy. What we don't know is that, will she testify? And I don't think she's going to testify, because I just told you they're wrapping up on Wednesday. If KK was to take the stand, KK would at least be 3 or 4 days. You think Jane and Cassie, there were 3 or 4 days. KK would be 3 or 4 days. We would have known by now if if KK was taking the stand. So you guys could pretty much assure and say, if you want to, that KK is not taking the stand. But let me tell you, and if you tell people, make sure you tell them that I told you. But what was brilliant today is she's not taking the stand, but they read all of her text messages, everything that was her devices. So you knew everything that she would have testified anyways, because they read her text messages. They just got the analysts to read the text messages and not have it be KK say it. And what's the other thing that's amazing with that? Having KK not actually say it means that you don't have to give KK immunity. Because if they put her on the stand, if they force her to put her on the stand, she would just plead the fifth, then they would have to give her immunity to testify, and she gets let off the hook. Now, getting her cell phone and getting her stuff and having somebody else read all her text messages, you get to get KK testifying, quote unquote, without giving her immunity. Brilliant move by the prosecution. Brilliant move, okay? So these are KK's text messages from 2018 to 2024. Multiple text messages between KK and Brendan Paul, who I told you guys about earlier, who is Diddy's DRUG mule. There's also text messages between KK and Dave Sherrill, which is one of Diddy's assistant. And the text messages are about setting up hotel rooms and Gatorade. Now, before I go through some of these text messages for you, and I'll go through them a little quickly because I went through these at lunch, I just want to highlight something for you guys before we even get started. KK is a paid employee for one of Diddy's companies, whether it be Bad Boy or Sean John Enterprises or Combs Enterprises or Diddy. She is being paid through one of Diddy's companies. Every time there's a text message that has to do with a Freakoff, that has to do with DRUG, that has to do with anything other than Ciroc or Bad Boy Records or an artist, that falls under grounds for RICO. Because the whole point and the whole classification of RICO is you have an enterprise that looks like it's legal, but you're doing a bunch of illegal stuff. And you know there's 35 classifications. Shout out to Roberta. I used to think it was 10, but Roberta reminded me it was 35. And if they could prove that you broke any of those 35 rules under the RICO Act within the past 10 years, that's RICO. So KK, some people might look and be like, oh, so she's arranging hotels, she's arranging this, yeah, what's the big deal? She's supposed to be taking care of Bad Boy artists because that's what she's paid to do. Not hotels, not DRUG, not talking with Brendan, not doing any of these things. So horrible, horrible, horrible day, okay? So let me tell you some of the text messages. There's a text message between her and Cassie, and hold on, Cassie was a bad boy artist, but the text messages were about wild kick nights and baby oil. That's not what you're supposed to be doing with a legal enterprise. Hey, bro. That's what happens on the streets of New York, bro. All right, happens to you all the time, right? You gotta just let them live, dog. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna have security next time I come up here, yo. Okay, so that falls under RICO. November the 12th, 2021, this falls under RICO. KK to Diddy, they have text messages between them to get his hotel rooms ready. And you know what they did that was really slick? So they show a text message between KK and Diddy to get a hotel room ready, right? And then Diddy's defense team could probably get up and argue and say, whoa, he's talking with his chief of staff about a hotel room. Maybe he's having a meeting in the hotel room, or maybe it has something to do, maybe they're filming a video in there. But then they'll show text messages from Diddy's phone to Cassie, and at the same time, at the same date, that's why they put it on the chart. You see the date, the time, the location, the metadata with him and KK, and then they show him to Cassie. And with the Cassie text messages are about a male worker, and there's like pictures and everything. So how could you be having your chief of staff get you a hotel at the Trump International at 3 p.m. and at 3:05 you're texting Cassie saying, yo, bring the baby oil, baby, and yo, did the Punisher answer you? And then there's text messages between Cassie and the Punisher, all within a 10-minute time period. Anyways, Diddy is not bright, yo. All right, now, so this is November 2022. KK and Diddy, they're texting each other about DRUG. That falls under RICO. April 2023, another RICO. KK and Diddy and a guy named Mohammed saying, yeah, we paid $5,000. I'm gonna bring $5,000 to the hotel to pay the guy cash. Falls under RICO, and also falls under SCX trafficking. It's just horrible. There's another text thread here between Cassie, KK, and another phone number. And Cassie is saying, I guess this was probably before 2018. Cassie starts off by saying, WTF, he was putting hands on me. I know, this is Cassie to KK. Hey, KK, I know you don't want to get involved, but you need to talk to him. He can't do things like that to me, what he did to me last night. Another thing, April 2018, Cassie to KK. Hey, sorry about last night, but he went crazy on me. I'm leaving, I'm done with this. I just want to also highlight another thing, because you guys know I'm all about receipts and paperwork and all of that. And I have been put on record saying I was disappointed with the prosecution not having enough evidence. I take that back. They closed that loophole. For people who are saying, or who do say, oh, Cassie was loving everything while she was there. Now that she's not with him, she gets on the stand and lying. How could you say somebody is lying if they have a text message from 2017 saying they hate doing freakoffs or they're not happy with this, and they text his chief, she is texting his chief of staff saying all of these bad things that he is doing. That is direct evidence, and that is very, very, very bad for Diddy. And that makes Cassie and Jane and all of these things way more believable, because not only are there text messages to Diddy, but now there's text messages to his chief of staff. Very, very, very bad look. May 16, 2023, KK and Diddy, they're talking about, Robin said that he paid, oh, this was one of his finance guys. Robin said that he paid Jade last week, cash, again, falls under RICO. November the 2nd, 2023, Jane to KK. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing all of this hard partying. I'm done with all of that. Again, Jane to KK. Why is KK talking to Diddy's side chicks or Diddy's chicks while she is supposed to be working and taking care of Combs Enterprises? Okay, this one is November the 19th, 2023. This is an audio recording of Jane and Diddy. I still can't figure this out. They played a recording between Jane and Diddy, but it was on KK's phone. So I don't know if Diddy was recording Jane to try to trap her up and then sent it to KK. I just don't know. Or if KK is recording, but I don't think KK would be recording Diddy without Diddy knowing. Anyways, we don't know, they don't tell us why they have this recording or how they got it, but it starts by saying, "Hi baby, I'm sorry." This is Diddy. "Hi baby, I'm sorry." He's talking to Jane. "I can't be talking on these phones." See, that makes me think it might be a government tap or something too. "I can't be talking on these phones, but I wanted to call you because I wanted to tell you that I'm sorry. I thought you were down with that kinky-ish. I thought we both liked that." Then Jane starts crying. She's like, "I feel sick to my stomach." There's another recording. "I can't talk on these phones. Don't text me, but I need you. I need you in my life. I can't lose you. We need to be friends." Here's another text message from KK to Diddy. KK said to Diddy, "Don't lie to me. I know what happened downstairs. That ish doesn't sit well with me." This is not text messages that you should be texting with your chief of staff at your company that sells Ciroc and that sells artist CDs. The conversations should be about Universal Music. It should be about Spotify. It should be about producers. It should be about mixing. It should be about, you know what I mean? It should be about company stuff. Your chief of staff shouldn't be like, "Don't lie to me. I know what happened downstairs." Like, this is just crazy, the things they were reading in court today. Jane to KK. Oh, listen to this. This is the best one yet. Jane to KK. And we actually saw these text messages. Jane to KK. "He just threatened to expose my tapes and send them to my baby daddy. He keeps on calling to invite me over, but I refuse to go. He is crazy. Do you realize that I was heavily DRUG'd having sex with male workers for him, and now he is threatening to send those tapes to my baby daddy." That's coercion, guys. That is coercion. That is what we've been talking about. And there's a lot of people that have said that she is making this stuff up now as a money grab. The prosecution has evidence, they have text messages, which to me goes down as direct evidence that she did not want to be doing these things on this date. And it also gives proof that Diddy was using those videos to threaten her to do more or threaten her to come over. If she felt like she couldn't leave, if she felt like she didn't want to do any more SCX tapes or any more Freakoff nights or hotel nights, and he says, "Yo, if you don't do it, I'm gonna send these tapes to your baby daddy," that is SCX trafficking, force, fraud, and coercion. That's just what it is. And your chief of staff is involved. KK answers Jane and says, "Hey, I'm sorry, I'm here to help." And then Jane says, "KK, woman to woman, you should wanna help me. He is trying to expose me and I need your help." That is crazy work, y'all. That is crazy. To hear her say that is nuts. Not only just to hear, sorry, I'm gonna move the camera, not only to hear her say that, but to, she said that on the stand, and to be sending this over a text message to your chief of staff at Bad Boy Records? Crazy. November 18, 2023 to February 7, 2024. There's text messages between Diddy and D-Rock. So this is off of Diddy's phone now. Diddy says to D-Rock, "Yo, I need to hear your voice. Thanks for checking on me, bro. Happy Thanksgiving. I love you, man. We're best friends. Blah, 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 blah. Yo, I need to see you tomorrow." And then the next day, D-Rock is texting Mia, and I don't want to read all of these things to you here because it's a little bit long, but then the next day, you see Diddy texting Mia, asking her to reach out, but Mia is not answering Diddy. So what these text messages prove is that Diddy was talking to D-Rock to have D-Rock help him reach out to Mia. I don't know what they were working on because this is where we cut now, I think, and we're gonna find out more tomorrow, but the text messages today were explosive, y'all. The text messages today were explosive. Mia, D-Rock, KK, Cassie, Jane, and I'm telling you, that leads to proof for me. The next witness was a lady named Pendle. She is an attorney at the office. She's a special agent. She conducts search warrants. And but today she did the same thing like this first lady. She did summary charts for the defense team. And now let me get into some more RICO for you guys, okay? They put up a summary of Diddy's money. And they showed one credit card that was $369,000, and it had hotels, flights, all of these things that didn't fall under anything that had to do with Ciroc or Bad Boy or anything like that. This man was spending close to $369,000 a month, and it was paid out of a Bad Boy account. But while they showed these receipts from flights and hotels, and like I said, it's very, very easy for somebody in the music industry to be like, yo, of course I need flights. I need to fly around. Yo, of course I need to go into hotels. I'm Diddy. Yes, guess what? The exact days and the exact times that he took these flights and he in his hotels, they showed receipts that were paid by Sean John Enterprises, but the text messages show that Diddy was in the room and he was with either Cassie or Jane or another woman and Paul, Punisher, or other male workers. Just really bad, man. Here's something that's a little bit funny. Like I was telling you, they were showing text messages to prove that he was here. They actually had video evidence. Listen to this. And again, just for those who are not following, video evidence and text evidence to show the money trail that he's paying for from his American Express. Charges. Hey, just to be clear that these were not Ciroc or real business expenses, we are gonna show what you were doing on that day and on that time, and we're gonna show the jury what you were doing, and it had nothing to do with work. That's why we're gonna get you on RICO. And we have text messages, but we also have a video of something that you were doing. They did not show the gallery, and they turn off the main TV, and they only play it for the jury and the lawyers, okay? Listen to this, it's the funniest thing. So they can cut off the TV that we're seeing, but the jurors, they have their own little mini TV, and the lawyers have their own little mini TV, and they have privacy screens. So they put headphones on them. They put headphones on them so that we cannot see. The funniest thing ever. They don't realize that the volume in the headphones are just loud enough so that we can hear, not clearly, but we can hear what's going on. The older lady that I told you about who's on the jury, the older black lady, the look on this woman's face lets you know what these videos were about. The prosecution played a Freakoff video for the jury today, and let me tell you, that jury was not impressed. The older lady was like this, and you heard a little like moaning in the background. You heard little like slurping in the background. Like you heard, again, like I said, it was through you know if somebody's like on a bus with you or on the train or whatever, and they have their earbuds in or their headphones, you cannot hear the music that they're listening to word for word, but you could tell they're listening to music, or you could tell if they're listening to a podcast, you could hear a little bit what's going on. That's what we could hear. Everybody in the courtroom was like this. We were looking at it, yo, it was hilarious. ABC News is there, TMZ is there, CNN, and we're looking at each other and just cracking up, laughing at these jurors that have to look at this screen and see Diddy's Tootsie Roll being you know what by somebody in there, and you're just hearing the slurping sounds. It was crazy work, y'all. They played they played 2 or 3. Oh, don't play music. Yo, YouTube, don't listen to that music. That'll get me flagged, yo. Here I am like, like this is gonna stop YouTube from hearing the music. Anyway, so yeah, they played 2 or 3 videos only for the jury. They had headphones on, but we could hear a bit of the sounds. We heard moaning, and it was like people, it sounded like people were having sex. The jury was shocked. Text with Cassie. Okay, so they continued to show more. I can't wait to read everything that's in the comment section. Text with Cassie and Diddy. Yeah, they showed more text with Cassie and Diddy. The Freakoffs, smoking, blah, blah, blah. Nothing too great. And Cassie with other male workers. And then the end, that was the end of the day. I think they probably ended the day after the Freakoff tapes. They were like, yo, we need to give the jury a little bit of a break. All right, so that was the end of the day. But now let me tell you, like I told you, when there's the end of the day of testimony, just like at the beginning, that's when the juice starts. That's why I come out here at lunch and I'm super excited. So before a trial starts, before testimony, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. The end of the day, it got juicy. This is what I'm here to talk to you guys about, the witness list, what Mark Garrigo said, Paul, and all of that shit, okay? So, I said ish, sorry YouTube, don't flag me. Okay, so the judge they say, okay, jury, you're done for today. I think he really wanted to say, we're really sorry for playing you Freakoff tapes, but he's like, all right, jury. So we all have to stand up and wait for the jury to leave. Then he sits down, he's like, okay, before we adjourn for the day, prosecution, do you have anything else that you would like to say? So the prosecution says, listen, judge, at lunch, you asked Diddy's defense team, you asked Mark Garagos to give us a witness list and let us know who is going to be testifying on Friday. And I told you guys this at lunch. He gave very vague names. Vasha, there's another one, Stefan Randock, and somebody else that's gonna read exhibits, kind of like how they had somebody reading exhibits today. So the prosecution was like, oh, actually also, and they also said they're gonna have an expert witness that's gonna kind of like counteract what Don Hughes said. If you guys remember, Don Hughes is a therapist that was talking about trauma bonding and like why do women stay in bad situations. Diddy's defense team is going to bring on somebody like an expert like that that's going to say the opposite, like, I don't know, like women should leave in those situations or whatever. But why this is such a big deal is we knew what the prosecution was going to do. We pretty much knew the witnesses. We did know that Cassie was going to be up there. We knew that Mia was going to be up there. We didn't know exactly who Jane was, but we know it was going to be around SEX. We know that we're going to bring some witnesses, and we all read the Cassie file. We've heard all of these civil suits, so we pretty much knew the strategy and what kind of case the prosecution was going to put on. That's actually too why I didn't come day one to the case, and I wanted to wait until the defense put on their case because we already knew kind of like what they were going to do, right? So the fact that at lunch they asked Mark Garagos, like, we're here, bro. We're finally here. After a year, Diddy finally gets to talk. Not literally, because we don't think he's going to take the stand, but after a year, we finally get to see some sort of defense. Like, you guys have to understand how huge this is. Since November 2023, we've been hearing Cassie talk about Diddy. Then we heard a bunch of other people. Then we heard civil suits. The only time we ever heard anything from Diddy is when the CNN videotape came out and he made that horrible apology where he's like, I need to do better, that was a bad time in my life, I'm sorry, this or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Since November 2023, we have not heard a word from Diddy. Obviously, because his lawyers are telling him not to talk. We're all the way now in 2025. That's almost a year and a half later. And you tell me the judge says to your lawyers, okay, who are you going to put up on the witness stand first? And you give us 3 vague names that nobody has ever heard of? Diddy's defense team is either playing games with us, it has to be, because Diddy has way too much money, way too much influence to not have a defense. Like, you're not gonna be doing all of this for the past year and a half, hire the biggest defense team in the world, pay these guys, I think he's spending $3 or $4 million a month. And your first witness is going to be an expert that tells us about trauma bonding? You're going to have somebody come up and talk to us about text messages? You don't have a bombshell witness? The prosecution started off their case with Cassie. The prosecution came in kicking the door down like, what up? Like, we are here. And now it's the defense team and you're going to tell us 3 names that we tried to Google and look into and nobody's ever heard of these people? That's your strategy? They have to be playing games. The defense is definitely playing games with the prosecution. That's why today, when the judge said, do you guys have anything more to say? Maureen Comey, the lead prosecutor, she said, Judge, you asked Mark at lunch and he gave you a vague answer. He was beating around the bush. I said the exact same thing at lunchtime to you guys. She said, we want a definitive witness list by Sunday. And so then the judge said, okay, Mr. Agofino, what do you say to that? Can you give us a list? He's like, yes, Your Honor. I think I'll be able to give you guys a list. Maureen was like, look, he keeps us giving, he gave us a list with a bunch of names. There's no way that he's gonna be able to bring all of these witnesses here. We're not privy to this yet. We only get to know the gallery. We only get to know the people who are gonna come up 48 hours before. But the prosecution, they have to give them a full list. So Maureen is like, the amount of people that are on his list, it's impossible for him to put all those people up on the witness stand and for the case to be finished July the 4th. So he must be taking some people off, which tells me that they purposely put more names on the witness list knowing that they can't ever get them or they're never gonna show up. These ambulances are allowed. 1 second, 1 second. Thank you, thank you. See, yo, respect, bro. The ambulance driver knew he was messing up my life, yo. So Mark stands up and he's like, Your Honor, that's fair. You're right. I was maybe a little vague today. He admitted it at least. He's like, all right, by Sunday, they will have a more definitive list and a list that looks like we can actually take 2 weeks to present our case. Wow, one turned it off and another one started. So the witness list, we should know more tomorrow and we will know the full direction or at least half the direction by Monday. So make sure you stay tuned, but you know I'm working on some like inside information, so I'll try to get as much more information for you guys as possible. Bernard Paul is going to testify tomorrow. I anticipate him saying some bombshell things because grand opening, grand closing, right? You start off with Cassie, you're not gonna just end with text messages, right? You gotta end with something strong. So I predict that Brendan Paul will be really strong. And the last thing that the defense team asked, okay, there must be something going on. Ambulances, now a fire truck. They asked, Diddy's defense team asked to find out how Juror 6 was dismissed. They want to know, did you guys call him on the phone? Did you tell him it was the prosecution that wanted you to get off? Did you tell him it was the defense? Did you tell him the defense fought for you? Diddy's legal team wants to know how juror number 6 was dismissed. Let me tell you why. We told you guys on Friday, this wasn't even my theory, it was one of the other press that was in there. I think it was somebody from CNN I was talking to, or it was maybe the guy from TMZ. But he was saying this, we know that Diddy's defense team doesn't want juror number 6 to be gone because he's a black 41-year-old that grew up listening to hip hop, so they feel like that's a good juror for Diddy's side. However, this guy from TMZ was saying, think about this. If the jury that's left finds out that the prosecution wanted a black man off and they were the one who wanted him to get kicked off, it might work in reverse against the prosecution. And you all know when you're a team, you're a basketball team or a football team or whatever, and let's say the coach kicks one of the players off, it's like, yo, that's my boy. So one of the guys from TMZ was telling me that maybe the other jurors might come together and be like, yo, we're not really happy with the prosecution right now, and maybe they might not want to vote favorably for them. So maybe that's why, maybe he might have a point, and maybe that's why Diddy's team, before they file for a mistrial because juror number 6 is there, maybe they want to find out, hey, did you guys tell juror number 6 and the rest of the jury that he was dismissed because the prosecution wanted him gone? And I think if tomorrow, if we find out and they tell us, as the judge tells us, yes, juror number 6 was dismissed and he was told that it was the prosecution that wants him dismissed, I think Diddy's defense team will be like, all right, we're cool, because now it plants the seed for the prosecution to look bad. If we find out tomorrow that he was dismissed and they didn't give him a reason, they say, oh, you'll find out, when the trial is over, then I think they will try for a mistrial, or they'll try some way to let the jury know, or they might even ask the judge, can you please tell the jury that it was a prosecution? We don't want him to think that it was us. These lawyers, they have smart ways of getting around the law. I think before they want to ask for another mistrial, because they're going to look crazy asking a mistrial from a judge that made the decision, he's obviously not going to grant you a mistrial off of his own decision. But if they could find a clever way to let the rest of the jury know that juror number 6 was kicked off because of the prosecution, it will be very bad for the prosecution. All right, that is my day wrap up. Woo, I did it in 40 minutes. Hey. All right, let me get to some questions before we go. Woo, there's a lot of questions here. All right, okay, let me see. Got some questions quickly. Hold on, let me angle this up a little bit more. Diddy was, okay, no, I'm not gonna do that. She kept contradicting herself. Give everyone who represents truthfully even Diddy and you too. Okay, I don't know what that means. Let me see. I would never stay where I'm not happy. Okay, Roberta says, nobody is happy to see Diddy fall. I'm more disappointed in how no matter what people are co-signing all this run. Okay, that's not a question. Thanks, Roberta. I like that. Even somebody asked it like exactly, Roberta. Okay, I'm trying to find some questions here. Somebody said, "Who are you?" I'm trying out loud. Okay, all these are statements. Cassie wasn't lying, and shame on. Okay, that's another statement. You can't help but to love this man, David. Somebody said this. Free Diddy. Diddy will get out. Keep Diddy locked up. I love how like versatile my comment section is. Some people are like, "Yo, free Diddy." Some people are like, "Yeah, I'll keep him locked up." Somebody said something to Melva. All right, I love you guys having a whole conversation to yourselves while I'm up here talking. Okay, When's the verdict? So the verdict, we don't know exactly when it is, but again, today they confirmed that they think they should be done by July the 4th. Both sides will rest July the 4th. We'll have closing arguments, etc. Let's go on. Somebody said I was right. All right, not a lot of questions here today. Boom, 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 boom. Maybe I answered them all with my whole wrap up. I'm doing a good job, huh, guys? So you said, listen up. I'm ready to change my phone number. Okay, talking about, did he do it? Who are you and what? Who are you and what's it to you? Why does it mean so much to you now? Okay, they cannot be talking to me. What can, okay, no. Why is everybody infatuated what Diddy did in his private life? I know this is a statement, but I just want to answer this. Somebody said, why is everybody infatuated what Diddy did in his private life? I don't know if we're necessarily infatuated with it, but there's a lot of interest in it because he broke the law and he was hurting people, right? So you don't want somebody like that out. You want to put somebody like that behind bars if he is guilty. If this man gets out, shows how money and power and justice is corrupt. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Thanks for updating us. You're awesome. You're welcome. Here we go. Why is Cassie at Trump Hotel with Diddy when she's married since 2000? No, she was at Trump Hotel with Diddy before 2019. Those text messages I was reading to you were before 2019. But who knows? I don't know what she was doing while she was married. Who knows? Okay. Boy, I can't wait to see this defense team when it's their turn to present this very honorable case, this very horrible case, because Diddy ain't got no person to defend his right. I totally agree with you. I really want to know, and that's why, like, are they playing games with the witness list, and they have some. Maybe they just don't want to give the prosecution too much time, and they want to be like, yo, by the way, we were working on this person, and now we have him, and it's like bombshell. That has to be what it is. They have to be playing games. It can't be that they haven't said anything for this time, and we know that they're going to play the race card, and they don't have anything. They have something, man. Trust me. I don't know if it's somebody or they have an email or they have to have something. Diddy is too rich not to have something. Trust me. Turn out loud. Let's go. Somebody said I was handsome. Thank you. Great job live. Your journalistic talents. Love your journalistic talents. Thank you. Then he gonna put money on? Okay, no. We are all worried about her. No. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, I'll put some comments, man. I got 7 more minutes, and I'll answer any questions you guys may have. I'm going through here quickly. Going through here. Everybody knows that. Okay, no. What? Everybody knows that women don't really like freaky stuff, not like men do, whatever. Okay, I'm not reading that. What are you talking about? Somebody says, welcome to AP. Okay, no. Move solo. If Diddy was innocent, his friends would be breaking down on the Florida witness. Johnny, have a great day. Okay, I'll look for some questions. You guys are talking amongst yourselves. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Trent out loud, let's go. Thank you, Trent. Your tea is the best, and you look spiffy. Thank you. Wow, 4th of July. That's about to be very interesting. Yep. We're glad you're there. Now we have some eye candy with tea. Appreciate y'all. Bad boy. Watching all the way from Jamaica. What? Shout out to Yada. Love my Yachties. Does the mistrial mean a new judge? Yes, I'm pretty sure everything gets new. If it's a mistrial, yes, 1000%. You get a new judge, you get a new jury. It's a mistrial. This goes away and you get a whole new. But I know some of you guys don't like the judge. I'm telling you, I see him every day. He's a really nice guy. He's really, really smart, and he is fair. He asks, "Are you guys sure? Are you sure?" Even today, all right, guys, like everybody wanted to leave early. Are you sure? Is there any more questions? Prosecution, any more questions? Yes. Even when they're arguing over juror number 6, it was like, guys, I already made up my mind, but okay, what would you like to say? What would you like to say? So much so that Brian Steele got up and like messed everything up for the defense team. Like sometimes you just have to be quiet, but the judge is good, I'm telling you, man. Bombshell is absolutely happening. Yeah, I agree. Do you think the prosecution have one more jury before their close up? Do you think the prosecution have win more jury before their close up? Okay, has the prosecution won over the jury? It's very, very hard to read the jury. I'll be super honest with you. There's one black girl who everything is all over her face. Like you could 100% read what's going on, but most of them are very, very, they don't smile, they don't act shocked. This is the first time I saw so much like movement when they're playing that Freakoff tape, but it's very hard to tell you where the jury stands. I'm really honestly telling you, man. There's one juror who, like, they're supposed to sit sideways and we see the side of their face. He sits like this. Like, he would be like, all I see is the back of his head, like, the whole day. I think he just doesn't want people to see his face. But it's very, very hard to read the jury, man. It would be a guess. It would be a guess. Do you think Diddy will testify? So I've been asked this question a couple of times. I think it's like a sports game where the coach has a plan of what they're going to do. And then you go in the first quarter, the second quarter, and then you see what's going on and you make adjustments. I think once the prosecution rests and we see, because the prosecution could have a surprise witness, you don't know. We don't think so, but you never know, right? You can't trust nobody these days. Hey, how are you? You can't trust somebody these days. So if the prosecution rests how it is right now, I don't think it's like a slam dunk case. And I think Diddy doesn't have to take the stand if he has a strong defense. So if the prosecution rests as it is right now, no other bombshells, and then Diddy has a chance to put on a strong defense, he really does not have to take the stand. You could leave it up to the jury at that point. But if the prosecution has what they have now, but then Diddy has no defense and it's very weak and it's just, therapists talking, this about trauma bonding, or you have little people talking about text messages, and he doesn't have a bombshell, he'll have to take the stand. Like as it is right now with the prosecution, if they have a weak defense, he has to take the stand. Although it's a horrible idea, if he doesn't have some sort of proof, because remember they want to make it about race. I told you guys that. Mark Agofino told TMZ that from like February. This is a case about the federal government trying to bring down a black successful man. If they don't have some direct evidence, somebody to testify, somebody in the feds that's gonna leak, that's gonna flip, because you could flip, you see how like feds flip people to snitch? There's people that are in the feds that prosecutions can flip to come over onto this side. They might have somebody in the feds that are like, yo, I know that this was a conspiracy to bring down Diddy. I know Diageo paid this person to do that. If they have something like that, Diddy doesn't have to take the stand. If they don't have nothing, Diddy will have to take the stand. Did Jay-Z and Beyonce it should, I don't even know what that means, to give him immunity too? This whole RICO is BS, statute expires. Okay, if you think so. I don't think it's BS, it's definitely up for question. What Freakoff tapes were played today? I don't know what Freakoff tapes, I don't know who was there, I don't know what. All I heard was some noise. All I heard was some slurping, yo. It was hilarious. And it didn't look like it was too great either because the faces did not look good. Somebody said I missed today. So did they expose the RICO? Well, if you missed the day, guess what? Go back and see the morning and see the lunch and see the entire wrap. I got 3 videos for you to watch. You don't have to miss nothing if you follow Trent Out Loud. Yes, you think Diddy will testify? All right, I just answered that. Okay, now we're getting to some questions. Diddy will never be broke. Everything is under his mom's name. That's not 100% true, but I understand maybe like, I already told you guys, I think it was last week too, that if they get him under RICO and they get everything that they want, they'll be able to seize a lot of things, including some of the things under his mother's name, because They have one guy testifying that he used to funnel money and his mom opening up like a publishing company. And I did a whole show on it, but they could get a lot of it. Do you know, okay, no. Diddy has something up his sleeve. If Ye couldn't get in, you're handsome too. I definitely think Diddy has something up his sleeves for sure. Good job, guy. Is Diddy the only one getting arrested? Everybody else gets to walk away? No, we definitely know that KK is a co-conspirator, and there could be other people. So Diddy is not the only one that has been arrested. We do know now that Brendan Paul has flipped and he will get immunity, which means that there was something on him too, right? And who else got immunity? I think Jane got immunity. So you got to think, whoever got immunity means that the feds had something on them. Were they arrested in the fashion that Diddy was? No, but that means that they had something on them, right? So, so I'll take it. He didn't stop trying to sway the jury. I love your enthusiasm when you hear good testimony and evidence. You're doing an amazing job covering this. Thank you very much. They didn't do, what? They didn't change Karen Reed's judge after, oh, they didn't change Karen Reed's judge after the mistrial. Okay. Judge is just a normal guy like everybody else is. He shouldn't be deciding for people. Okay, somebody's just said, judge or the judge is a normal guy like every one of us. He shouldn't be deciding for people. The judge doesn't decide nothing. The judge is almost like a referee. The judge is there to uphold the law and make sure that each side just does what they're supposed to do. So if you're submitting evidence, testifying, make sure things are not hearsay or whatever, the judge is just a referee. The only people who will be deciding anything are the 12 jurors and the 5 alternates that are now, the 17 people. The judge does not decide anything. He follows the law. And if he makes any mistakes on things that should be entered in or not entered in, it can go under grounds of appeal, and then another judge could overturn his decision, and it will be a mistrial, and they have a whole other trial. Judges do not make any of those decisions, and the decisions that they do make could be overturned. What is a mistrial? Diddy wouldn't go home until there's a new trial. Exactly. Even if he gets a mistrial, because he didn't get bail, he would still have to be in jail. The same thing that's happening with Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein is going through a new trial right now. He's still inside. If you are let out on bail and you get a mistrial, then you get to go home. I love the judge. He is so fair, 1000%. Do you think the prosecution will win more jury before they rest their case? It depends. It depends what they bring. You know, today was a very good day. Tony, showing those text messages and stuff, they had a great day. Did they prove RICO? It's tough. That's a tough question. Some say yes, some say no. I'm kind of on the fence, to be honest with you. How many mistrials can they request? You can request as many mistrials as you want, you can request as many mistrials as you want, so long as you have evidence to ask for a mistrial. You can ask for a mistrial every day if you have evidence and grounds for a mistrial. Okay, please at least tell me this, bro. Did the word ever come up at all? I don't even know what that word is. Poker face, those men, you're okay, no. Are you getting to the end here? No, it seems like once the prosecution did not get the reaction they were getting from the jurors, they could start removing them at the end of the trial. What? No, you cannot remove jurors like that. You have to have a reason. Only the judge can remove jurors. Trent, you're doing a great job reporting. Thank you, Lisa Davis. I'm glad I stumbled across your page. Feel blessed. Thank you so much. Victoria. Hey, Melva's still here. Boom, boom, boom. Thank you. Somebody said Puff Daddy. Tiff Blue. You see my comment on your YouTube channel. Is it true that NBC News reported today online that Cassie was at the Trump Hotel with Diddy? Oh, that's why somebody said that earlier. What's Cassie doing at the Trump Hotel? You know what? It's funny that you say that, because there was something in my notes here. Wow. Hold on. Remember I was reading you guys the text messages about Cassie? And then I said, here. I said that I'm so happy I read this message. May 2022, there was a text message between Cassie, KK, and another number, and Cassie was with Diddy, and I thought I heard the date wrong, and I have it literally scratched out on my page here. And that's why after I said the next one was from 2018. Wow, so Cassie was with Diddy. I was like, there's no way that, I was like, yo, she had kids at that time. She was married. I thought I heard the date wrong. Wow, it's very possible. Yes, NBC is correct. Because how could they hear that and report that and I heard it too? Like I said, I thought I heard it wrong. Taking a stand will end him. I don't know about that, but I don't even want to get into that right now. Diddy should Diddy bop, okay, this, da-da-da-da. Are you okay, no. Why am I celebrating? I celebrated because I came to the end of the my day. I'm allowed to celebrate. You must not follow this page. I'm always celebrating, Jamaican style, you know what I'm saying? Diddy's a control freak, yes, 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 da-da-da-da. I love your smile, Trent. Somebody said, are you single? That's the real question. Yes, Giselle, I'm mad single, trust me. Free Diddy, okay, no. What's the worst that could happen at this Diddy trial? What's the worst that could happen? Diddy gets found guilty on all charges and he goes to jail for the rest of his life. That's the worst that can happen. Judge is there, okay, blah, 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 blah. Here we go. It says October 14, 2022, Cassie and Diddy ran up a bill for $700. Yes! I'm so happy I read this. I literally scratched it out because I'm like, how could this happen? Yes, I saw that text. I even saw the bill. They showed us the bill. Wow, yo, Cassie's husband's gonna leave her. Yo, guys, I want to add this to the, add it to my day. Cassie and Diddy ran up a bill October the 14th, 2022 at a hotel. Damn, yo. Free Diddy, okay, no. Da-da. Doesn't he decide the sentence? No, no. So yes, the judge will decide the sentence, but the jury decides if he's guilty or not. Okay. Hey, I got a super chat. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. D-I-N-K, Dink Booker. Dink Booker. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Be proud of the good job you are doing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm really sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. I'm dyslexic and I really pronounce names wrong, but I really hope I got it right. Thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate that. I need to have dinner tonight, you know? Somebody says this isn't a race thing. It isn't a race thing. I agree with you that it shouldn't be a race thing, but Diddy's lawyers have already said they are going to make it a race thing, unfortunately. Sorry, but they said it. How can a mistrial happen even with evidence being so overwhelming? Mistrials have nothing to do about evidence. Mistrials are mistakes. Somebody does something wrong, the judge makes a wrong decision, the prosecution does something, somebody on the witness stand says something. If the jury gets prejudiced in a way, not prejudiced like race, but if they get wrong information that they can't unhear, like if it just goes right, like basically, if something happens that makes the trial not fair for Diddy, as a American citizen, regardless whatever you do in life, you always have a right to a fair trial. And if any time at the beginning, middle of, or end of that trial, if anything happens that's unfair to you, you get a mistrial and you get to do another one. Again, don't get it twisted. A mistrial doesn't mean you get set free and Diddy's not let out on bail. So he has to sit down in jail for another year so they get another judge, another jury, and start all over. The defense does have a little bit of an advantage with a mistrial because during a mistrial, sorry, not during a mistrial, but when you have a mistrial and you have a second trial, the defense knows pretty much your case and knows what the witnesses are going to say so they can better prepare. Could they find new witnesses or new things? Possible, but the advantage just goes to the defense. Do you think the judge is aware the defense is playing nasty games because they keep doing it? The judge is fully aware, trust me. The judge, this ain't his first rodeo. He knows. And you know, we are looking at it as dirty tricks, but at the end of the day, that is law. And that is why that's why defense attorneys make crazy money, because they know the loopholes and the ins and outs of the legal system. It's dirty, but that's just what it is. 2 Queen, 1 King says new subscriber. Thank you for joining. Love that. Do they ever mention Okay, no, I'm not even answering that. Can Diddy still make a plea deal? You can make a plea deal all the way up till the jury makes a decision. Once the jury makes a decision, you cannot no longer make a plea deal. Or, no, maybe it's until I think you can make a plea deal all the way until it rests. I think once it rests, then you can't make a plea deal. It's up until a long time you can make a plea deal. That could also be something that Diddy's doing too. He could also think, I have no defense. Let me play that I have a defense, see what the prosecution says, and if he feels like, yo, I don't have any way of winning this, he could come to them and be like, yo, I want a plea deal. That's what a lot of people do. They can plead out all the way till the end, but I don't think he will take one because they will absolutely want him to plead guilty. And no. Listen, even young, so you're right in the thing that he can plead all the way till the end, but trust me, Diddy will plead guilty if it gets him out of jail and gets him to his houses. Don't forget, Young Thug was just in the same predicament. He was in jail, not getting bail for 2.5 years. Thug pled guilty to a couple of charges, lesser charges, and he's out. He's on probation, but he's out. Diddy is 100% guilty of one thing we know for sure, sex trafficking for women selling themselves. Not the forced fraud or coercion, but that's a lesser charge. It's almost a misdemeanor, and he would get off on time served. If they give him a plea deal, they will at least keep that on the table because that was proven from like weeks ago. And 100,000% right now, Diddy would plead guilty to that and get off. Trust me. I bet you anything I have, trust me. If he's found guilty, doesn't the judge decide the sentence? Yes, he does. But then your whole thing doesn't work because that was a question from a judge. Judge is just a normal person. He shouldn't be deciding. I understand a judge shouldn't decide guilt, but of course a judge should decide a sentence because don't forget, it's not like he can make up anything. There's still a rule book and law. Like whatever the crime is, the judge opens the book and says, this crime has a minimum and has a maximum, right? So like RICO has a maximum and a minimum, and that's why it's such a scary charge because I think the minimum is like 15 years. So even though the judge has decides the sentence, he can only decide between the minimum and maximum. He still has to go according to law. He can't be like, oh, you're charged for RICO, I'm only giving you a year. No, because the law stipulates a RICO charge is between a minimum and a maximum. So the judge has some decision making, but it's still he still has to be within the perimeters of the law. Why you even care about whether Cassie is cheating? It's not a crime. Okay, whatever. Love from Texas. What up, Texas? Is it true they do everything bigger in Texas? I'm disappointed to hear that Cassie was with Diddy in 2022. Yeah, it's pretty disappointing. Thank you for reporting the truth and not being biased because there is a female independent juror that is being very team Cassie. I knew I had to search for somebody with the truth. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Yeah, I try to stay in the middle and not take sides and just report. When the prosecution does something good, I say it. When the defense does something good, I say it. I try to be fair, man. But shout out to everybody who's here, man. Everybody who I've met that's reporting is doing a good job. Is Cassie with Diddy in 2022? She keeps coming back. Alex saw what his mom went through. Okay, dude, you still there? Yeah, I'm still right in front of the courthouse. I'm the last one here reporting for y'all, man. Look, nobody's even outside anymore. I told you all, I got you, man. Cassie and her husband dated. Okay, back. This. Okay, y'all. Everyone's talking about Cassie now. Thank you for all that you're doing. We appreciate it. You're welcome, man. We love you, Trent. Thank you. He needs a plea deal. Prosecution knows what they're doing. Making deals. Trying out loud. You're good. Thank you, Barbara Smith. Ooh, you guys are really commenting a lot down here. Our juror reaction. This. All right, I finally got to the end. Here we go. Let me see any more that's coming in. You seem like such a nice guy. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, Trent. On a boat in the UK, why do you think Little Rod hasn't testified yet? Well, it's not up to Little Rod if he testifies. It's really up to the prosecution. And the prosecution decides what charges they want to go after, and they ask the person to testify who they think that will give them the best story and the best credibility. Don't forget, it's just not about testifying, it's also about standing up to cross-examination. And Diddy's defense team is the best lawyers in the US. It's not easy being cross-examined by Tenny Garagos. Xavier, Nicole Westmoreland, like I see them in court. Remember with Jane, I told you it was an outburst in court and Jane was like, yo, I need to take a break. You don't know what that kind of pressure is like, man. So, and you don't know how credible Little Rod is and all of that stuff. Thank you for reading all the comments and not just super chats. You rock, no problem. Little Rod has a civil suit as well. Yes, we all know that. That's why people think the defense is playing dirty. Great live trend, keep growing, keep growing and remain humble. I definitely will. Who won today? Yo, the prosecution won today. Prosecution won hands down. Even Diddy's defense team, if you ask them, they will tell you they took a L today. Trust me, they took a huge L. The defense is also making those women who are claiming to be victims look really bad. Defense. Why didn't prosecutors charge Diddy with rape? Don't you think the jurors can see through that? Again, it's not about what you could charge. It's not about what you know. It's about what you can prove. And to prove rape, I think requires things and statute of limitations. And if I'm not mistaken, hold on, sorry. And R-wording somebody is also a state crime. It's not a Fed crime. For a Fed crime to happen, you have to be crossing state lines. When you do one thing in a state, it's a state crime. Once you start doing it over state lines, it becomes a federal charge. That's why. Do you think the judge is aware that the defense is playing nasty games? Oh, I read that already. Yes, definitely. How did the defense lose today? The defense lost today by the text messages from KK. They got KK. You must not have seen it from the beginning. Rewind and watch this. The prosecution got indirect testimony from KK because they read all of her text messages. They got information from KK, Diddy's chief of staff, to the jury without having KK on the stand and without giving KK immunity. That is a huge win. It is brilliant. It is smart of them. Whether you like it or not, I don't care whose team you're on or whose team you're not on. That was a brilliant move. That was a brilliant strategic move. We do know that KK is a co-conspirator, which means if she does not take the stand and you don't have to give her immunity, that means that she will be charged. It definitely won't be a big case like Diddy. There won't be people lining up or whatever, but KK will be charged if she's not granted immunity. We still don't know. It's still out yet, but if you could get her information into the jury's ears without giving her immunity and you could decide after that whether you want to charge her or not or whether you want to use it for something else, they kept a big trump card in their back pocket today. It was a brilliant move. Where's all the tapes? Well, the tapes that we thought we heard about were these Freakoff tapes, but have nothing to do with SEX trafficking or RICO. That's why we're not seeing any tapes. And again, we just heard there were tapes, right? We don't know. But we did see one today, though. The jury did see one today. But wait, why isn't KK testifying in person? The only way that you can make somebody testify is if you give them a subpoena you give them a subpoena. Okay, you're making me come there. She just says, I plead the fifth on grounds that I'm going to incriminate myself. Okay, well, if we really want you to testify, then, and for you not to be able to plead the fifth, they have to grant them immunity. That's why she's not testifying in person, because they don't, can you imagine the government still gets to keep her and get her information out without giving her immunity? It's a brilliant move, man. Does Diddy look as bad as the sketches make him out to be? Yo, the first day that I got here, he looked scruffy, but he has a little bit better haircut. Depending on the outfit he wears, when he wears that mustard, he looks horrible, but the baby blue, I don't know, does something. He doesn't look as bad, but I was saying this to somebody today. I think it was like somebody at CNN or ABC, where if I were Diddy, because with the feds, hey, Moni, Moni, I think you're pronouncing it. Moni, thank you for the super chat. I made it to the party. Great coverage. Thank you. I was saying if I was Diddy's handlers, I would make him cut off his hair, because you're not allowed to use dye in the Fed prison, right? So why don't you cut off your hair to look younger? All of these stories that we're hearing about him, and the fact that he looks like an old man, to me, it makes it worse. I would try to make myself look as young as possible. I would shave off my hair and look younger. I don't know if he just doesn't want to shave off his hair or what, but if you cannot dye your hair, I would shave it off and at least look younger, because now with the stories that people are telling us, he looks like a dirty old man. Horrible. But he doesn't look as bad as the picture, but he doesn't look great, trust me. Did Diddy host parties in Miami and LA? Wouldn't that be crossing state? Yes, but we're talking about our wording. Our wording to be a federal crime, you would have to cross state. What was Diddy's reaction when jurors were shown the video? Oh, he was just looking down. He wasn't even trying to look at them. He was not trying to look at them. The couple of lawyers were looking over. All of us were looking at them. But yeah, he kept his head down. He was a tad bit ashamed, my friends. Let me tell you that. My hair is gorgeous. Thank you. Freakoffs on the open ocean. Okay. Why is Diddy so malicious? I have no idea. Tapes or whatever. What was found on the text? All right. What was found in the text messages from KK? Oh, I already read you a bunch of text messages from KK's phone. So you go back. I'm going to end the live now. You can go back and check it out and rewatch this. I have all the information. I stayed on 70 minutes for y'all. Thank you so much for all the comments. Thank you so much for the super chat. We just got 2 like right at the end. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Make sure to tune in tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. and again at 12 and again at the end of the day. We'll be at the Diddy Trial live all week. We appreciate you. We thank you. We also are going to do a podcast tonight, our recorded podcast, where we'll also be bringing you other entertainment and political and viral news. I'm going to do that and record that right now. We don't just cover Diddy here on this channel. We cover everything that's viral and entertainment. You can check it out tonight. I'll probably get it up on the page by like 11 or 12 o'clock. I was hoping to get home a little early today, but yo, we stayed here and did a 71-minute live. But I love y'all, man. Make sure you check it out. Follow. Link below. We got our sponsor, Aura, below. You can check that out. Digital security platform. Thank you, Aura. And thank you, you guys, man. You guys are amazing. I do this for y'all. I stay this late for y'all. I haven't eaten lunch. Nothing, man. I love y'all. I'll check you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Peace.